Same height, both in the 170-pound division. We're ready to get things underway here. Who's number one?
Right, guys.
Fight! With the red ankle band is Taza. The blue, Jones Leary immediately sitting to guard, and that is not a surprise given we know how good Jones Leary is with the berimbolo and the leg fighting style. What we don't know, Chase, is how well he's adapted that for the no-gi game, especially with the addition of heel hooks and such.
Yeah, well said. And we're seeing it already, but what Levi really needs is a dance partner, right? Someone that's not afraid to go into his guard. He's even suffered situations like double DQs for committing to a game plan. But we see none of that now. And Levi's instantly attacking the back here.
Now you can see that Taza attempted a back step, and in doing so, created back exposure for Jones Leary, who uses that formidable berimbolo to start climbing up and moving to the back. And at this point, is managed to lock in the body triangle after a furious exchange there. Climbs up the body of Oliver Taza and is in an incredible attacking position with just 1 minute into this match. Kendall, your thoughts on what we can expect?
I think you said that Levi needed a dance partner, and that's exactly what he got. You know, he saw a lot of action from Taza, and you know, to his credit, super active, moving back and forth, entering the guard. But Levi's so good at that hip control that no matter how much Oliver was trying to, put his back to the mat and escape his hips out, Levi's knees were like clamped around his thighs so tight, using his hands to push the hips down. Just incredible awareness of where he was, and now we have this tight body triangle. I think we can expect, Levi really chasing the finish here. He's not going to give up this position. It's his favorite place to be. And if anything, we may see him transition to the mount. But Taza needs to start spinning, and he's doing a great job here, starting to escape, but might give up the mount in the process.
Managing to create a wedge between them, getting his back to the mat, his shoulder between them. Jones Leary still has a vice-like grip around the torso with his legs, but Taza has done a great job of scraping Levi Jones Leary off his back and into this kind of side control position here, this side lock.
I do think that there was a lot of energy expenditure here. Now we see him in the mount, great control, but a lot of energy expenditure where if Taza can get free here and kind of start to, cause a flurry reaction and start to move really dynamically the way that we know that he can, I can see this match changing up.
Nice escape there from Oliver Taza in getting out of the very dangerous, the very deep body triangle from the back there on the edge of bounds. Our referee, Gabriel Martins, was right on top of it, ready to restart the action. But a good thing he didn't, because Taza's constant work managed to extricate himself from that position, Chase.
Yeah, that was crucial. Taza was in a lot of trouble there for a few minutes, and now he's got a chance to readjust and, make some small changes in his game.
I think a small change. I think you may have to make a big change, because if you think about the initial sequence that allowed Levi Jones Leary the path to the back, it was Taza going after the leg attacks. Now, that is a kind of an often repeated maxim in no-gi jiu-jitsu, right? Is that for every leg attack, there's a berimbolo counter, and vice versa. For every berimbolo, there's a leg attack waiting to happen. And I feel like Taza might feel a little gun-shy about diving in for a leg attack if that is how quickly Levi's able to handle the situation.
Yeah, I think what we saw, though, is that big back step is really what got him into trouble. We're seeing a little bit more reserved here. He's still going into the guard. He's still putting a lot of pressure on top to pass, but I don't think we're going to see any big back steps that create that back exposure that we were talking about. We may even see him sitting down into playing some leg locks. I think that will probably be a smart play here by Taza. But yeah, anytime you're going into the legs, there are some dangerous positions for the back. And we saw, Levi Jones Leary looking for that right now, even in that tiny little exchange. So
consider who is in the corner of Oliver Taza. You have John Danaher, Gordon Ryan, and Gary Tonon all coaching him through this match. Now, you couldn't ask for three better technicians in situations such as this. The Who's Number One rule set, the 15-minute matches. Here you see Danaher and Gordon Ryan. Gordon, of course, will be competing later on tonight in our special exhibition match against Philip Rowe. And they will be giving very close instruction to Oliver Taza to try and navigate this very dangerous guard of Jones Leary. And so far, Leary seems a little comfortable to hang out here from bottom, but allowing Taza to come in, I think that Jones Leary you have to say that Levi is he's almost baiting him to enter, right?
Well, no one is as comfortable as inversions as Levi Jones-Leary, right? That's the main part of his game in the gi as well. So I think when you take away the backstep for Taza into some leg entanglements, that poses an interesting question, like how will he pass this guard? He has to try and penetrate through, and again, Taza's not exactly known for his body lock passing or pressure passing, and you take away the leg lock entanglements, which he made be, again, like you said, gun shy to do again, well, you pose quite a problem here. So Levi is definitely in a control position in a sense where he can sort of dictate where this match is going, and it's in his guard. Taza is sort of playing on the outside, making no real commitments at this point.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing here when you think about...
Judges favor Levi Jones-Leary.
When you think about the the key of what needs to happen here for both athletes, Levi Jones-Leary is looking for these entanglements that he can only get if Taza's coming forward. So we may see a little bit of a change up in action if he has to push the pace himself, if Taza's not going to be coming so far deep into the guard. But at the same time, we can't say that Taza's not dictating a lot of the pace here. He's definitely attempting to pass, but he's just being a little smarter than that first exchange with those big back steps and big back opening movements, because clearly, you don't want to have your back taken by Levi Jones-Leary. So hard to determine exactly what is going to happen next. But I think Levi's going to get a little bit more insistent here.
Well, let's talk about the fact that the first judges favor. Oh, here we see Levi Jones-Leary was looking for an arm there, not just entangling the legs, but entangling the upper limbs, upper body limbs as well. Now, Jones-Leary got the judges' favor after the first 5 minutes, very much because of his position there, his positional control, his back attack, and the time spent with the rear body triangle. But I feel like so far the action has slowed down. Jones-Leary hasn't done anything significant since then. Now, we may think that the pressure is on Taza here to make a statement and to go forward, but if the referee considers, and if he feels that the bottom man isn't actively trying to improve the position and is just constantly waiting for his opponent, then he could actually get a warning or a penalty as well. So it is it's by no means a green light for Levi to take his foot off the gas and cruise from here on out.
No, I agree, and I think Taza's doing a great job. Actually, he's passing towards the head. We see him do it again here. There's been a couple of times where he almost gets his chest-to-chest connection when he goes towards the head, but Levi Jones-Leary is able to bring his feet inside and start to do that recovery. The answer here, I think, for Taza may be to go for that pass and then jump towards the back exposure once Levi is upside down like that. I think getting through those legs is going to be very, very difficult with that chest connection. And we see Levi doing a great job consistently bringing that left butterfly hook in to avoid the pressure from Taza. So I think a back entry here is going to be the answer, or sitting back to the legs, which we've seen him try a couple of times.
Trying that side-to-side passing there to try and throw the legs by. And one thing we haven't seen yet is we haven't seen Taza manage to get close enough to try any kind of body lock passing. Simply hasn't been able to establish any kind of control, such as the distance management of Levi Jones-Leary from bottom. This young Australian has developed a very unique system that he's called the Xanadu guard. Problem is that we're not quite sure what it is, so if he starts doing it, I'm not sure whether I'm going to be able to identify it.
Yeah, exactly. He did mention that it leads to Rataplatas and Tarakoplatas quite nicely, and I believe that he's baiting Taza in actually to try and go chest-to-chest from north-south to hunt for those two submission attacks. It's one of his favorite things to do. Taza may not be taking the bait there, and like Kendall pointed out, Taza's being a little more wary, but as the time goes on, that will put pressure on Levi to try something new.
Now we see Taza trying to scoop up the heel and try to suck the leg in for an attack of his own. A false sweep takes him through now into this entanglement, and immediately you see the counter and exit of Levi Jones-Leary.
Well, it was a really effective position where he was putting so much pressure on the guard that Levi had to extend his leg, and then he was able to suck it in as he sat back. That was really smart.
Jones-Leary trains out of Unity Jiu-Jitsu in New York under the supervision of Murillo Santana, training with a team extremely well known not only for their competition success. They took no less than 4 gold medals at the IBJJF World No-Gi Championships recently.
Nearly into a great position here, but Levi working his knee out, looking for maybe for a back, but definitely too much space there. But Taza definitely pushing the pace now, getting a little more aggressive, trying to jump on a leg of Levi here.
And this double guard position is not somewhere where the referee will allow them to hang out. He will keep an eye on the clock here, because if we don't see either guy come up and either guy try to advance the position and make a meaningful attempt at improving their position or going for a submission attack, then he will issue a stalling warning or stalling penalty.
Levi, you got to initiate attacks as well.
Ride out the clock here at who's number one. But so far, the activity, the competitors staying busy enough to avoid any warnings from our officials. And here you see another upper body entry there, but I feel trying to catch the arm like that, it's going to get more and more difficult as they get sweaty, as we get deeper into this match.
Yeah, I think you're right, Chase, by he's kind of baiting him to go to that north-south position, but Taza's adjusting really well, and so when he goes to north-south and he feels threatened, then he sits back towards the legs again. It's really, really smart. And we can't imagine that I think Levi knows he can't rely on that first exchange for the rest of the 5 minutes, because after that,
Judges favor Levi Jones Leary.
and it's not surprising that they still favor Levi because of that first exchange, but with 5 more minutes on the clock, it's interesting to see what's going to happen with Taza really being the one determining the action at this point.
Well, 10 minutes in, the judges have indicated that so far that they are completely in favor of Jones Leary. The pressure is on for Taza to do something significant here, because he's definitely been pressuring, he's definitely been feeling out the guard of Jones Leary, but he hasn't managed to find any kind of opening. Everywhere he's gone, Jones Leary has had something, and look at this, now we see a little bit more intention behind Taza's forward motion, but Jones Leary is trying to suck up a leg, and Taza managed to shut down that K-guard entry. A very technical encounter so far.
Definitely was one of the more meaningful attacks from Levi after the first exchange. He was almost in on the legs there, but then Taza countering with his own leg attack. And we consistently see back to this north-south passing position from Taza. But Levi's so comfortable here because I do think he is baiting him into those attacks that we just saw a moment ago. And now we may start to see some of his Xanadu guard.
Yeah, it's tough to see what's going on down there, but he's overhooked his own leg as well.
Interesting lock here on the outside of the arm.
This looks like a stress position for Jones Leary, but knowing how good he is at inverting it, and then the fact that he has his leg in between the upper body, you have to think that he is in not just a safe position, not just surviving, but most likely in an attacking position. But Taza manages to rip his arms out. But he's up against not just Levi, he's up against the clock now as well. We got 3 minutes remaining in this match.
We're on short time now, Taza. We need entries.
And you hear Gary Tonon actually saying that from the sidelines, saying that he's short on time.
There's a lot of extension of legs during your passing attempts.
Everything tight. Watch that right leg.
Yeah, it's a very tough position to be in as an athlete when you're down in the very beginning of the fight, and then you have, 13 minutes. 13 minutes is a long time, 13 minutes or so to catch up, and you're the one pushing the pace. So I think, there's a little bit of fatigue going on here, but at the same time, there's some desperation. So we'll see what starts to happen when he really turns it on with about 2 minutes left. I think that's when we're really going to see a lot of action from Taza on top. But we don't know if that's going to work in his favor or if it's going to create openings for Levi to keep it selling. Yeah, coming from, as far as the perspective here of what's going on for Taza, I think it would be smart for him to switch some game plans up here and maybe start to, just like we're seeing, focus on the legs, because he's been passing for over 10 minutes and not able to get any chest-to-chest connection. So now we're seeing here a little bit of a different approach, electing to come on the bottom position and maybe start to use the legs from here or come back on top.
Now, Kendall, I want to ask something actually, is that at this point in the match, as a competitor, how aware are you of the clock, and how aware of you of the fact that you're down on points and the clock is running down? How much is that a factor in your mid-match at this point?
Every athlete is different, and it really depends on your style, but I would say that Taza is very, very aware of it, and I think what's starting to happen is he, it looks like he's starting to, now we see Levi, searching for the back again, getting a little more action here, trying to get closer to the hips, but Taza doing a great job of separating his hips away. coming up to this double-seated position. But yeah, it does put a lot of pressure. It really depends on how you respond to things mentally, whether you respond well under pressure or you break under pressure. But the pressure adds up the closer you get down to the 0 mark of the clock. Some people excel there and go crazy. Some people freak out and start to melt. So we're going to see what happens to Taza here in the last minute.
1 minute left in this match now. We've seen Jones-Leary play exclusively from the guard position, even when offered the opportunity to attack from top. Has decided to try and work these guard attacks that he has. Taza is trying his best to move forward, but look at this, there is another beautiful counter there from Levi Jones-Leary, taking the mount with a little over 30 seconds. Taza was pushing forward in search of a strong position, and Jones-Leary had the perfect counter to that pressure.
Well, if there was any questions about where the judges might stand in this match, I think that may have sealed the deal for Levi, as he had 2 significant control positions. For Taza, man, he was putting on the pressure for, you know, better part of 13 minutes straight, but couldn't quite get anywhere with it.
Yeah, that last moment of his hip, the way that he moved his hips around the back so slick like that was just really, really incredible. I think that's what he was searching for this whole time.
That take us to the end of this match. Really tactical strategy from both athletes. Let's see how our judges see it, but I think it's pretty predictable at this point here, Hal.
Yeah, I don't feel that it's going to be a surprise if this decision does go to the blue corner to Levi Jones-Leary. But we do have to make this official. Let's see what they have to say. It is unanimous for the blue corner.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner by unanimous decision, Levi Jones-Leary.